I'm ready.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get started with this. This is a new fixture that Jance is making now from my design that I had made years ago. It works quite well. It kind of takes the place of a what they call a rise and fall fixture for doing the actions on a slip joint pocket knife. So what I've done is, I'm going to show you how I do mine. I actually make a template for the outside of my profile that I want it to look like. And from there I'll make my springs and my blades off of that. And then I put it in the fixture. And I've already got this one set up, so it'll be easy for me to do this. I'll show you one later that they do with a 16th inch pins. This one also works for a 16th inch one. What I'll do with these is the deal that I didn't like with the rise and fall indicators is I didn't know how much load I was going to be. It was all just a guess. This one, I'm being a tool and die maker, I like to have something that is precision and know how much actual load I've got on my spring that I'm doing. So what I do is I'll bring this one around, and this is where my spring is in the free position. I'll set my 0, and so that's where I know it's at in the free position. From there, I hand work each one of my points that I use on the blade itself. So with this one here, it's got way more than what I need, and that's the way I do it. I saw everything out, and it's just rough sawed, basically, is what I got here. It is not finished, this particular one here. So what I would do is with this one, I would take more off of my spring here, as well as the outside, and I would bring that down. And with this fixture, you bring it in, and you go to all 2 positions here first, and that gets your all of it even to where it's exactly the same in your positions, and that's what you want with a slip joint knife. And what this does for me is I finish up these 2 positions first, right here, and then the closed one. So then from there, I work the end of my spring so I know what length my spring needs to be, so it comes out just barely past my action on this in this closed position. So from there then I can work the rest of those positions. And a nice thing that Ken has added to this is he's added this thing right here to put into the fixture there, and it holds your indicator back. That's another very good plus. I used rubber bands, so this is a very nice item that he has added to this fixture to be able to do that, and it holds it back out of the way for you. So then you're ready to go back with it and work it out, and you'll end up bringing, because you have this end finished, then you take it off of here to get it open. And with that knowing, you know that you've got, like on a knife this size, I like about a 30 thousandths or so lift on a knife. Is what I do for one this size I start out with. So then I'll work it in to where all of my surfaces are ground down to that surface, okay? And as you can see, this one is just roughed out. So then you want it to come to where it opens up, so you're going to finish up your part of your blade right here on this part. Now, the advantage of this, and then from there, once I say this action is finished, from there on mine, I take it off, and I will, see how nice that is to use it that way? If I can get it back in there we go. But then what I do with it is I take my outside template that I've got here made, and it, let's see, there we go. I will take this outside template, and that way this is finished already, and I know exactly how much load. So then I lay this on my liners, and I drill all of my holes this side. I turn it over on another side, and I drill all of those holes, and then everything is consistent. I don't have to guess at how much pushing that spring up is to drill that other hole like the rise and fall fixtures do. It gets me more consistency. And with that, you can do multi-blades or like I do two-bladed, and I'll run it off of the same end just like that when I run them, and you can get everything exactly the same when you do that because you've got a load that's the same and all of it is there. And then of course, like they said before, you can adjust then once you get it, you get your outside profile where you want it on your spring, and then you take and relieve this here to get how much feel you want. That way your load is the same and it will be consistent for you from knife to knife. Now there's another aspect that they've added, Ken added to this thing, is you can take out this, well, let's see if I can get my fixture back off, and put your pins in here. What he's added on this particular one, well, there's one more that I need to show you here real quick. He has got this right here added for pulling your spring back. You know how a lot of times it's pretty hard to get your spring pulled back? When you're getting close to that, you just grab this and it pulls it back. Okay, this one's too stiff right now and I don't have it, but if the spring is right and it's close, you pull that back and you drop your blade right on in there. And then you can keep working and get your action to where you want it. This is a very, very nice feature that he has added for this machine, this one here. So, with that, another item that he has added for this particular fixture is you can set this, I don't know if you can see it here, but it has a slot here. And it is very accurate along this axis. So what you do is you put your other indicator tip in, bring it up, and you set a 0 on the outside of your pin here, and then you can take this, slide it to the next pin, and let the indicator come up against it, and get a dimension as to how much change it is from one to the other. Go to the next one and come down here. For those of you that have DROs, digital readouts on your mills, that way you can get a dimension if you're not using an outside fixture like I have. If you're starting from scratch with a new prototype or something you're wanting to do, then you can adjust these wherever you want to, and then by using this part of it, it'll tell you where it's at on your digital readout as far as telling you where to put it. What you do is then you measure it and you'll know your x-axis here, and then what you do is you'll mic it across here, and that'll tell you how far it is from one to the next. And then you get your y-axis going that direction. So that's another added plus that they have added to this particular fixture, and it really makes it nice for, like I said, even doing your prototypes if you want to be doing something different. He also has something here. I'll show you another one here. He's got other blocks here that you can use, and they're 16th inch diameter pins. And the other one is what, 2 millimeter? Is that what you said, Jerry? 2 millimeter is the other one for some of you that use 2 millimeter stuff. I have a smaller knife that I make here. My little gentleman folder, I call it. And this is my fixture for it. I've got one that's close to being finished, so I can do that. But what you do is you take these off then. And I'll just adjust one here to show you where it goes. We'll actually show you how you can redo it all the way back to whatever you wanted it to be, and starting from scratch.
Thank you.
Sorry. If I go the right way, it might help.
You need some help?
Yeah. Need some brains here working this thing instead of me. See, and these will work. They're nice and narrow, so they'll work for little bitty knives if you're doing small ones. I brought my own 16th inch pins so we can have them to go with it. So see, it'll work for any of them. I just got these started. Let me see if I can get See, and these are very adjustable all the way across everywhere. Anywhere where you want to go with it, it's adjustable. Come on up.
That's a nice little knife.
Huh?
I like that little pattern. That's nice.
Yeah. They're good, very popular sellers for me. Okay, see with this one's smaller, so I have to adjust everything over. But that's very easy to do with this thing. Everything is so adjustable on it.
That's me.
If I can find the right holes for it to go in. There we go. See, I get that to where it's where I want it. I try to keep the back fairly straight right there at the start. And then I tighten everything back up. And with this, you don't have to have a template on the outside with the way he's got that other indicator with another tip. If that's what you're wanting to do, you can go off of your digital readout and make another. I'm going the wrong way, man. It's upside down.
Ah.
See, and we'll move everything around. Bear with me here a second. I got to get everything tightened back up. Okay, see. All right, I get everything where it needs to be. I think. Now then, this thing is totally adjustable everywhere. So you pull this thing back out of the way for now, and I bring my indicator back over to where it picks up on the spring, to where it needs to be. I usually try to set my indicator pin or where it reads it just past the center line on the spring itself, so it's where it's in the working position. Okay. See there, it's reading where it needs to be. So I'll set this at 0 for now on this one. So then I'll do the same thing. This small of knife, I take it, and I don't like but like 20 thousandths on this one as far as the load. Show and tell purposes, my fixture, my template's a little tight on my dowels there, so see if I can get that one out. So none of them want to come out on a pair of pliers. My dowel's too tight. There we go. So there's what I got set. Is I'll put that in there, and this is how I would set my. I'd have it by hand first to be adjusting everything to where I had the right lift and get it all even and go with it that way. Okay. And then let's say I'm going to put this back to where it belongs, right up there, nice and tight to the stuff, and you can grab your. It grabs your blade and spring and pulls it back out of the way so you can load your stuck in there if it's on the load for the spring. Okay? So there's that one. And then also, as you can see, I can do my little blade with it too. I've got my other blade that's going to be opening on the same side. It actually opens on the same end right there. So I do the same thing. And like I said, this one is wet, very roughed out. Nothing is finished at all. If you were going to do one that opens on the other end, all you have to do is turn this over and readjust your indicator to where you want it if you're doing it for the other end. I've actually got one now that's close to being finished, so you can kind of see one that is, and we can go with it from there. Now we'll set my 0. We'll see how much load I got on this one here. We'll kind of set it. So there's in the free state. See how it's got the 0 on it? Okay. I'm going to leave it in there because this one's finished. Put that on the pick. It picks it up. Whoop. Okay. This one here is my little knife. It's only got like 10 thousandths, but that's okay for these little gentleman folders. But as you can see, there's 10. It's at 10, and that's how I finish them up, is right there like that. And if that way you check all 3 of your positions and everything is finished when you get done with this. There's no moving anything if you've got your fixture done and fixture's right. So. Are there any questions? All right.
Thank you.
They have them here for sale.